Welcome to Latina in America, your bilingual destination for all things Latina about our diverse culture, professions, and passion to travel. I am Rosie. Our special guests will share their career journeys and will take us to amazing places around the world. On some episodes, they will take you on those journeys in Spanish. Así es, en español. So come on and join me. Let's learn and travel. And today we have the honor and good fortune to be with our guest, Miriam Sanchez, a first-generation Latina and medical student who took the non-traditional path to achieve her goals. So Miriam, welcome to the show.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited that you're here because I learned from you in social media. You are sharing your beautiful journey as a medical student, and one of the things that I first saw was first-generation Latina and non-traditional path. Now tell me, what is your cultural background and how did you apply that non-traditional path to achieve your goal to be a medical student?
Yes, well, I'm a first-generation Mexican-American. Both of my parents are from Mexico, and I was born here. I grew up in rural North Carolina in the South, and now I'm living in the Midwest for medical school. So the traditional route, first of all, is going straight into undergrad, majoring and graduating with a science degree and going straight into medical school. That's the traditional path for medicine. And so the non-traditional path, it looks a little bit different. So you may take your time with it. You may be coming from a different career, from a different path. And so when I went to undergrad, I graduated with an anthropology degree, so a humanities degree, very different from the sciences. But from those classes, I learned about medical anthropology, and so like the medical humanistic aspect of medicine. And from there, I was, okay, what do I want to do now after graduation? What's next? I've just learned about the social, cultural aspects and all these factors that play into health on a person. And so why not go a little bit further and start learning the sciences and going into medical school? And so that's where I'm at now.
A medical school. And another thing that I was so inspired by it is that you had your white coat ceremony. Now, for the people who do not know about the subject of the medical school and all the ceremonies throughout your career, what is the significance of the white coat ceremony and what is ahead and other ceremonies to becoming a medical doctor?
That was so exciting. One of the very first ceremonies in medical school is the white coat ceremony. So as a first year, you're going to be introduced to patients right away. You need that patient interaction, and so you need a white coat. As first years, we get a short white coat, and that signifies the very beginning of your medical education. So once you get donned your white coat, and it's donned on you by a physician, your whole class gets it, and then you can start working with patients. And then once you're done with your medical education, you get your long white coat. And that means that you are officially a doctor and you can practice.
And how many years between the two?
If you're regular traditional medical school, it'll take about 4 years to get through that. There are some programs now where you can get through medical school in 3 years. And then also if you want to add on another degree like a PhD or MPH, then it may take a little bit longer than 4 years. So it just depends on each medical student.
And to get to that point, to even get started, how was your journey from the viewpoint of a person who would like to do what you did, but who do not have the resources available or doesn't even know where to begin? What was your journey and what type of resources are available to be considered to apply to medical school?
That was my entire journey, trying to figure out how to do this, trying to figure out what resources I needed. Because growing up, I didn't have a role model. I didn't have anyone to look up to. There wasn't any Latinos medical doctors in my area. So I'm trying to basically figuring it out on my own. That has been my journey. So like I said, I graduated with an anthropology degree. I needed to figure out what I wanted to do next. And
Yes.
for me, I needed to take science courses. So you needed to have prerequisites for medical school. And so I applied for a program, which is a post-bac, to get all those prerequisites done. It was during that post-bac program that I met other non-traditional students, other people who were coming from different paths and getting together and learning more about the path to medicine. So we had advisors, we had a post-bac club, and we had these resources and networking opportunities. Learning from other post-bac students, that has been one of the biggest things for me. What did this person do to get to their journey? How long did it take them? And all those things, those were inspiring to me to keep going forward. Also, during my undergrad, there wasn't that much hope. A couple of students who were on the pre-med track, Latino students on the pre-med track, and they also didn't have the resources. There wasn't that community to help us out. And a lot of people kind of went their own ways along the route. I had an advisor even tell me, this is not possible for you. You're not going to be able to get into medical school. It's on your major. It's not possible. What's another career that you want to explore?
Yes, every time you're trying to achieve something, and if you are the first one, you're opening a new path. And every time you're trying to achieve something that it is different than the path that other people have taken, a lot of people are going to tell you, no, that's not possible. And the reason is because they haven't seen it many times or inquire of if someone comes from this other background, what is possible for them. So that is our job, and I congratulate you for it, that not only you start looking to it, but you didn't give up until you found the one that worked for you. Because it is like that. It happened to so many people. It has happened to me. And actually, that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because someone told me, and no, that's not going to work, but I will have to figure it out. So it is, and that's something that I wanted to ask you, because it's sad to say it, but it's one of the defaults. No, that's not possible. I'm looking to something else. And when you found that particular program that worked for you, do you remember something from maybe high school or undergrad that kind of led you into that discovery?
Well, I know people had talked about it and heard of a post-bac, but I didn't know what kind of programs there were. So there are different post-bac programs. There's like a DIY post-bac. There's a very structured post-bac. So I had to look into that myself and see what there was in North Carolina. And I didn't want to go too far. I know people go out of state for that, but I wanted to stay in state, stay close to my family. And so I found that. So it was discouraging. Like whenever an advisor would say, you don't fit the mold, not going to be able to go through the traditional route, so might as well look at something else. It was discouraging, but I was like, no, like you said, no, I'm not giving up. It might not be perfect the first time. I might not have done it right the first time, but that doesn't mean I can start over. And let me look into this. Let me look into post-bacs. Let me apply. Let me be proactive and find this post-bac community, the non-traditional community, and get inspiration from them. And seeing their story, hearing their stories inspired me. Like, okay, it is possible.
It is.
Us Latinas, we do have a space in this world, and we can do it. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but we can lean on each other, especially social media. So I started this blog on Instagram, and I've been able to connect with other non-traditional students, other pre-med students, and I've seen other Latino medical students. And so all of their stories have been motivating.
Yes. And this is just the beginning, because then you have all kind of application process and everything like that. Where do you think that you develop, or did you have in yourself that determination and persistence of continuing moving forward?
That's a good question. Like you said, there's a lot of preparation that goes into getting into medical school. So you have to apply, resume ready, you have to do extracurriculars, you have to do well in your science classes. We have to take the MCAT as well, and we have to do shadowing, get clinical experience, find what we're passionate about in medicine, and compile this story of why we want to practice medicine. And there was a couple of setbacks and obstacles, many nights where I doubted myself, but I couldn't think of doing anything else. I knew I would not be happy with myself if I gave up on this dream. My parents have always been there. My family has always been there to support me. They didn't ever have higher education. They always told me, we don't know what you're going through. We've never been in that world, in that situation, but we're here for you. If you need anything, we're here for you. And just like hearing their story and the way they grew up and seeing their resilience and what they went through and what they still go through just pushed me to do my best to get over those obstacles and learning from my mistakes. I feel like that's a big thing in building resilience.
Yes, because as you know, one thing is wanting to do something, and another thing is going through the process of doing that.
Yes, it's so worth it. I know when I was getting my white coat, I got emotional. I know some people are like in imposter syndrome. For me, I was like, about time.
Exactly.
I worked hard to get here. I'm going to stay here.
Yes, I earned the right to be in this spot. I claim it and it's mine and I'm not going to let it go.
It's not going anywhere. I was still fighting for it.
And this is just the beginning of this career that it demands a lot from you in your knowledge as a doctor, but also as a person. So far, how have you been able to balance your personal life and your medical student career?
Like, you have to be confident this is what you want to do and you're aware of what it takes. It took ups and downs. I think it took me like a week or two to find my balance. So I've been trying to eat healthier and get my body moving while also socializing with my classmates and then also making time to study.
And what is like from the outside looking in, once you are accepted and once you start taking classes, what takes place during that process?
So the first thing that comes to my mind, a lot of people say it's like drinking water from a fire hydrant. So much information being thrown at you, and it's so true. But it's exciting to learn, knowing that we'll apply it to our patients. So our day-to-day life is we have classes in the mornings. In the afternoons, it can look a little different. We could have anatomy lab. We have on this campus a physicians in the community pathway. And so it focuses on what a physician would look like in the community and learning about its people and the cultures and the different ethnicities that exist here. I love these schools that I'm at because it does do a blend of both the academic sciences and also the humanistic aspect of a patient.
That is beautiful. From the patient point of view, there is a need for that. And it shows not only in the knowledge base, but in the bedside manner. So I'm so glad that you're able to participate because we need you and we need that knowledge applied to our community. That is so important because what you're doing is something that it takes so much because you're the first one. And that's part of being the first at something, is trying to figure out everything. But because of what you're doing now, sharing your story with social media and your blog, people are learning so much more. So tell us a little bit more about your blog. Tell us what to expect when people go to it and tell us how to find it.
Yes, so I started a blog during my postdoc program where I was learning the sciences, but I also wanted to tie in what I had learned in my previous undergraduate degree, the anthropology, and tie in the social cultural aspects of health with the science classes that I was taking, and just like combining and building this overall picture of human health. And so I love to explore the different factors that go into health, whether it's social, cultural, environmental, political, and then getting down to the nitty-gritty of the science and the physiology of what's actually going on and how that's affecting your health. My blog is a combination of those two things, and I love it. I do research. I have to be well-versed in the topics to be able to put them out on social media. It was kind of a platform for me to express my thoughts. And then I moved over to Instagram, and I love to be creative too. And so I love designing posts to go with the blogs and then interacting with other pre-meds and other Latino pre-meds and just interacting with this community online. And it was amazing. So I like to talk about my non-traditional path too and what it took, and being open and vulnerable about my obstacles and hoping that someone can resonate with them.
Yes, you have created a beautiful community. I see it. I learned so much from it. You're documenting your journey and the journey of others and meeting other people who are doing the same. And that is so exciting because for someone who doesn't even know where to start, they have a starting point. For someone who started and decided to take a break, what a great way to say, okay, this is ahead of me. I can do this. Or for someone who always dreamed about doing what you're doing, there is a pathway, a blueprint of action, like I call it. And that is the purpose of this show, sharing the blueprint of action. And on that, I love your username in Instagram, Beyond the Biological. Tell us, what do you embrace with that name? Tell us, what is the meaning behind that?
Yes, the blog is Beyond the Biological. I was using that phrase a lot when I was telling people about how I view health and how I view medicine. I said, okay, health and medicine, it goes beyond biology. So we know health and medicine to be this organ is not functioning well. This is what's going on in the body, the physiology. But there's so many other factors that are affecting a person's health, whether it's their income, socioeconomic status, their ethnicity, if they encounter any racism, if they have insurance, the political structure of the country that they're in, whether they even believe in biomedicine or practice biomedicine, or if there's another healing system that they use. All these things go beyond biology. And having that understanding, that background of that person can help you as a provider, as a healthcare worker, to understand the patient's biology a little bit better.
It is a beautiful project. It is a beautiful community. And for the person who wants to find it on the website, the blog, what will be the easiest way to access that information?
Yes, just Google Beyond the Biological. I think the best way would be through Instagram. It's at Beyond the Biological. Very simple.
That combination of medicine and travel. Tell me about a place that really impacted you and how your knowledge in medicine will have future travel, and how are you planning to implement that in treating patients in communities that might not have the same access that we do?
So I think a place that I visited that has a special place in my heart is India. Me and my sister went for a wedding for one of our friends. So we got to see like this whole new culture. And I remember learning in one of my anthropology courses about how in different states of India, they practice different healing systems that aren't biomedicine, or they'll combine biomedicine with a different type of medicine like Ayurvedic medicine. And so I loved that experience. So one of my goals in the future is to possibly practice abroad with a nonprofit and bring healthcare to those different areas, and hopefully continue applying my anthropology mindset.
What I like is that everything you learn in the back of your mind, you can apply to, oh, wow, I remember when I went to India and I remember learning about this. How can I apply when I'm learning here today in that situation? And that's what I love what you're doing. So keep traveling and keep learning, because I'm waiting for you to bring all that knowledge forward so we can live a better life. Miriam, I am so fortunate to have you here sharing the knowledge, because there is so much you are giving. This is a gift that you have. And I'm so glad that you just didn't keep it to yourself. You put it on that blog and you are sharing your journey so that others also can benefit from it. And before we conclude the episode, what is ahead for you? What is in for you in the next few months and in the next few years?
I will be finishing up my preclinical years within a year. So hopefully by next December, I'll be done with the preclinical years, hopefully taking step 1. So that's kind of in a few months, in a few years, know what specialty I want to go into, getting ready for residency.
And then having all those board certified and all these other things, because learning never stops.
Learning never stops. Yeah, boards, exams, there's step 1, step 2, and it just keeps going.
Yes, to keep you current with the latest technology and the latest knowledge, and to make sure that you went through the process. You learned and you were successful in applying that knowledge. You are becoming a wonderful medical doctor, and know that you might be the first, but you won't be the last. That there are people right behind you. Yes.
Thankful you gave me this opportunity to share my story and hopefully inspire other people and let them know they're not alone in the non-traditional path and that it is possible.
Yes, and what a beautiful way to conclude this episode. Thank you so much, Miriam. I wish you the very best, and it has been an honor sharing this moment with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nos vemos, adiós.
Adiós.
Bye. Thanks for finding and subscribing to Latina in America so you don't miss a thing. And if you like this episode, give us a 5-star review so we can be put on front of more listeners. For details and show notes and how you can connect with and support our guests, please go to latinainamericapodcast.com. Email us at latinainamericapodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at Latina in America. Links can be found on the website. This has been Rosie, a Latina in America.